Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Thompson. This is a second recording for you guys. It's of Chapter 2, The Fire. Most everyone heard this in class, so if you're listening to like, I heard this before, then you're good. There are only 2 classes from Group B Day that didn't get to finish this chapter, The Fire. I'm using screencast so that it might be easier to see and listen to. But I have the directions up there for you about what we're doing. You're listening, you're using our BHH strategies, and I'm just going to read a little bit from The Fire. I'm going to see how this goes, and hopefully this works for everyone. I'm going to do another one after this for story part 1 so that we can keep going with our reading, and hopefully you'll enjoy the book. All right, back to the Marrow Thieves. The Fire. There were 7 of us in the group, 5 boys and 2 girls, not including the elders. Not one of us was related by blood, which was a good thing for those closer in age, since in the old days, when our families were huge and sprawling, accidentally dating a second or third cousin had meant you had to ask about genealogy right off the bat. It was also lonely, not having the common connection of grandparents or aunties like we used to have so often. There was Chi-Boy, who, at 17, was the oldest boy, and taller than anyone else. After Chi-Boy, there was me, 16. I was nicknamed Frenchie, as much for my name as for my people, the Metis. I came from a long line of hunters, trappers, and voyagers. But now, with most of the rivers cut into pieces and lakes left as gray sludge on the landscape, my own history seemed like a myth, along the lines of dragons. Then there were the 12-year-old twins, Tree and Xingwang, whose matched green eyes communicated without words between them. They were broader than the rest of us, with wide shoulders and heavy hands that hung from ropey arms. Sloper was next, the 9-year-old with the belly of a 50-year-old diabetic. His family came from the East Coast. The girls had Wob, who at 18 was practically a woman. Then there was Riri, who came from a Metis community close to where my father had said ours used to be, and was old enough to keep her own with all of us adults, even though she was still a child. Us kids, we longed for the old-timey. We wore our hair in braids to show it. We made sweat lodges out of broken branches, dug back in the earth, covered over with our shirts tied together at the buttonholes. Those lodges weren't very hot, but we sat in them for hours and willed the sweat to pop over our willowy arms and hairless cheeks. It's time for story. Meg exhaled smoke as he spoke. I watched the word story puff over the fire and spread into a cumulative haze that smelled of ground roots and acrid burn just above our dark heads. Sloper struggled to his feet and started over to his tent. The youngest weren't privy to story. Not yet, anyway. Riri made that face she pulled out when she wanted something, like an extra piece of bread, or to sleep in my tent so I could tell her stories to keep the nightmares away. Meg just looked at her, lifting one eyebrow higher than the other. "Aw, Meg, can't I stay for a little bit?" She received no answer, and kicked rocks all the way to her tent. The woods grew quiet now. Even the beetles stopped rubbing their smooth shells on softened bark. Even the wind picked around the branches instead of rattling straight through. Meg leaned in so that the fire illuminated his face from the bottom like unsteady stage lights, and he opened a hand, palm down, to indicate the ground, this ground, as he began story. That was the last bit of The Fire for Chapter 2. In case you missed it. The big thing I think the author wants us to take away here, so this is the head part, what does the author want me to know? I think the author's trying to share the characters, who they are, and a little bit of what they've been through. I really like Ree. If I had a reaction, I really like Ree because she's 7, but she's also feisty. We hear a lot from her earlier in the chapter too. She's the first one to ask questions about dreams. How do they go and get in your bone marrow? And she seems to really like Frenchie if she's asking him to tell her stories at night to keep the nightmares away. So that is The Fire I'm going to record story part 1, and then after that there'll be discussion posts, so please make sure you get to do that too. And that's it. If you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to leave them, email me, whatever you need to do to reach me, I'm here for you guys. Alright, talk to you later.